A Raven, 2 years, $16 million, can get up to 20. Ravens led the league in rushing with 156 yards a game, 15 yards more than the second-place team. Henry's 30 years old, bro, but still rushed for almost 1,200 yards and had 12 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
His reaction is Flock Nation. It's up. Your reaction is what?
You left some of that out. You didn't want to read the whole thing?
Well, I
would have loved to hear you read the whole thing.
I don't like it.
What?
Oh, here we go.
I love it. I love it.
He got you. You
fell
always
for
say
it.
he's a bad actor, and he got
you guys know.
No, I don't, Brew. I know you have an IMDb page.
Yes,
Wild
yes.
is always knocking your acting.
I love it. All right. I love it so much. I thought about bringing out the Jordan 3s and the Versace
Yeah, why
Rose.
didn't you?
Because I'm admittedly a tad bit gun shy.
Once bitten, twice shy about
what
Baltimore?
happened. We got a few months for me to decide on my Ravens pick. But, look, it's a great fit. I mean, Derrick Henry, and I know Nickel scoff.
Don't say you know.
Guess who had the worst offensive line in the league last year? According to PFF.com.
The Tennessee Titans?
It was the Tennessee Titans, and yet he still was second in the league in rushing, had almost 1,000 yards after contact, second in the league to McCaffrey. And even though he's 30 years old, Nick, we've seen Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Frank Gore,
Anyone in the
Adrian
HD era?
Peterson.
Oh, Adrian
well, Frank Gore. Frank Gore was fairly recent, Adrian Peterson. And so I think he's still got some good years left. And for him to be in an offense where he's like, in Tennessee, we know Derrick Henry's running the football. Yeah. Now you got to worry about Lamar, obviously. You got to worry about the pass game. So I think he's going to see holes that he hasn't seen in years. And this is a team, Nick, and we'll see if the Chiefs, how it is next year. But this past season, if there was a weakness, it's not a weakness, but the weakest part of the defense was the run game.
Yeah.
And so
seems like Baltimore should have leaned on that.
They should have ran a little more. But now they're definitely going to run the football with Derrick Henry. They're going to get a receiver probably in the draft. So
they do.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Wild, ask me the question.
Sure. I mean, the question was just your reaction.
Well, ask me the question.
Fear,
Ask me with all the teams that sign running backs, so I can do the thing.
It's $16 million.
Wild.
Do you
for 2
think,
years.
Again, this is a freestyle. Yeah. Do you think it was smart of the Baltimore Ravens to spend moderately big money
$9 million
and sign Derrick Henry?
No.
It worked if it was big money. It wasn't big.
Okay,
it's 1 year, $9 million.
It's again, I look at all of these things in context, right? So it's the second most guaranteed money, I believe, of any running back. All right, of any running back this cycle.
Oh, this season.
I think, of any running
season.
Right, and so I think obviously Saquon got way more than everybody else, and
but guaranteed, he only got $26 million guaranteed.
Right, and which is still that's way more than any other running back. I'm saying, and so I don't hate this deal. I want to be clear. I don't think it puts them over the top. I think that, as you pointed out, but I want to reemphasize it, this team was first in rushing already, 26 rushing touchdowns on the year. League leader was at 27. Third in yards per carry. They had the fourth highest scoring offense in the league. Their issue, you could argue in the regular season, didn't really have issues, but it certainly was not a lack of a running game. If I were running the Ravens, I would have used my resources elsewhere because I think they have real concerns from last season to this next season on the defensive side of the ball because the coordinator's gone and he was excellent and just a lot of free agents, a lot of guys who had Queen gone. We'll see where Clowney goes, but he had a career year. Kyle Van Noy was like, wow, what a year he's having, kind of an older player. Free agent, a lot of free agents leaving on that side of the ball. But more Wilds, here's my thing. Who do the Ravens want to be offensively?
They want to be the Ravens.
But who? I don't know.
I don't really think there's anybody like them.
No, well, but the idea, I think, last year was we were pivoting. We are pivoting from a run-first, RPO-oriented Greg Roman system to more of a traditional drop-back passing style of offense, and everyone loved it. Lamar won MVP, even though Lamar's passing numbers weren't great. People thought it was the best or second best year of his career. And then they lost a playoff game because everyone seems to, not that the Chiefs were better, which I thought, but nobody thought that at the time. They thought they lost the playoff game because they made a strategic error. They threw the ball too much. They put the ball in the MVP's hands. They screwed up by leaning on their newly signed MVP quarterback. And now, to me, this offseason, when you go out and sign Derrick Henry, let Patrick Queen walk out the door, sign Derrick Henry, what you're saying is, we want to go back to smash-mouth running football, which is an odd for a team that just spent a first-round pick on Bateman, a first-round pick on Zay Flowers, spent $50 million on Odell. Seems you just said going to draft another receiver. Like, what do the Baltimore Ravens want to be? I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
But I don't think they're going smash mouth. And look, even last
Derrick
year,
Henry.
Guess who threw the football more than Lamar Jackson? Or Lamar Jackson barely threw it more than Brock Purdy. So he didn't throw. It wasn't like he wasn't throwing it as much as Mahomes and guys like that. So in that playoff game, certainly they threw the ball too much. But I just think this will be a great compliment. At 30 years old, I think he's got a lot left. But they're not going to just be running him 28 times a game. So I think there's going to be a good mix for both of them.
All right, trivia question.
Yeah.
It's a projection trivia.
Sure.
Ravens leading rushers. This is the list of Ravens
nobody
leading
gets 1,000
running
yards,
backs.
right? Yeah.
So
Right.
a running back never led the league, led the team in rushing. Lamar led the team every time. So next year, who has more rushing yards, Lamar or Derrick Henry?
Well, I think it will be Lamar.
Really?
Yeah, because Derrick Henry is going to make
8-10?
I think it's going to be Henry.
All right,
Lamar
so
had 8-21, so it was close. It was
Derrick
like
Henry's going to make the Hall of Fame, I believe. Mm-hmm. Derrick Henry is the best back of his generation, if you consider it post Adrian Peterson, the maybe mini generation. I don't know how you do it. I am skeptical on if Derrick Henry has another great season in it.
He still.
I understand that the yards per carry down a touch. Bruce's point about the offensive line is correct, and it is so. He is already 2 years past the outlier when it comes to wear and tear. When that volume of carries, and we saw him have the injury a couple years ago, but then he bounced back and had another excellent year, and last year was good. I don't know that I would call him excellent last year.
But
I thought he was
second
good.
in rushing.
Yeah, sure, and he had a dozen touchdowns.
Yep.
I get it. I just think the tread is worn very thin on the tires, and I think Lamar will, as he has to, I think your point of that was every year of his career, led the
So you don't think he's going to get 800 yards?
Well, I don't know. How many carries? Let's do it this way. How many carries do we think he's going to get? How many carries do we think he's going to get? We can do the math in real time, right? Like, is he going to get more than 200 carries? Is he going to be?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think it's going to be 1,000?
That's just a little over 10 a game.
Yeah.
200 carries.
Okay.
He's going to probably get 16, 17
So
carries
he's going to
a
be
game.
their feature, no question, number one back. See, because the Ravens have kind of done it by committee.
Yeah, but you don't sign Derrick Henry to do. And here's the thing. Look, as good, you're right that Dobbins and Gus Edwards and whoever they put in there has been productive. But imagine what he'll be like. This is a top 5 offensive line. Imagine what he'll be like running behind that offensive line again when they can't just zero in on you.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, the read option should be.
Oh, right.
I understand that part of it.
Up.
I just wonder. I wonder what Derrick Henry they're getting, and I wonder how they want to use him. And I'm not sure that they know that right now.
His last game, 153 yards. Last game last year.
I think he's
and
trending
hit 22 miles an hour
LeBron-esque.
almost.
Like I know the data says one thing. I mean, not in the scheme.
No, I
of,
get
like,
it.
great,
I understand what you mean.
But like, you know what? Show me the data that I'm really declining. Like, well, you should be declining, but like I'm not.
Okay.
So also
always
they both have
I mean,
the
I
king
guess.
thing. You know,
I mean, he had 2,000 yards a few
helps.
years ago. So like, and then he got hurt, and last year he had 1,000 yards.
Look at PFF.
Okay.
Offensive line rating.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Who was second to last? Do you know?